Yo. Welcome to a new episode of the podcast. It is what it is. First off, man, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all been fucking with me lately. I love the support. And we gonna keep growing it. So with that being said, I ain't never plugged my own channel, but I'm gonna plug it today. We gonna keep it going every single time. I need y'all to follow, man. Follow me on every platform. The link is in the description. Also, click that motherfucking bell, man, because when you click the bell, you're gonna get notifications every time I post something. And we about to start posting on TikTok too, so stay tuned for that. But enough of me. Enough of y'all tired of me. I'm here with a special individual. I know y'all be like, man, every time you get somebody, you say they special. It's not true. The homies wasn't special. Ashley Taylor. This is gonna be one of them conversations, y'all. It's a touchy topic. I think it's kind of like a hero story. Call me a nerd, whatever. I'm into that superhero type shit. So the topics we're gonna discuss today are gonna be around family, healing, and then touchy one, sexual abuse. Now, I'm not gonna dive deep into the story. I'm gonna let Ashley tell the story because that's what she here for. Y'all ain't trying to hear me. So without further ado, Ashley, over to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
For sure. So, first off, we'll be drinking a little bit. Why the Is What It Is podcast? Why are we here? Why'd you want to come here? Talk to me. What's up?
Well, it's you.
It's me.
Yeah, you make people feel so comfortable and at ease, and I feel like that's the best way to deliver a message. When you could be in your most comfortable setting with a person that makes you feel comfortable.
I appreciate it for sure. You give me too much credit here, man. You know what I'm saying? You just trying to be humble out here, man. That's dope. And where we at today, y'all already know. We at Unbeatable Eatables on 95th and Kizzy. I'm always gonna plug it. If you know why. And that's what's up. So before we get into like the super touchy piece, I really wanted to dive into to give y'all some context as well. Like we just met for real. Like we don't know each other as well as you know Reese. Reese was on the second episode of the podcast, or third episode of the podcast. Y'all go check that one out if you ain't watched it yet. And he introduced us though at his event, and like you said, I agree though. It was just like a natural understanding between one another. And he was like, "Damn, you do podcasts?" I'm like, "Shit, I'm just starting." And you like, "Let me get on now. Say less." So, where do you come from in terms of your upbringing, and like what are you doing now? What's life like for you?
Life right now is just a transition. Coming out of a dark place, a dark situation, and seeing the light. I guess you can say that's where I'm at now.
Okay.
And indulging in myself for my children. Preparing for my future, just making sure I'm grounded. I got good people around me.
I like it. So going into, you talked on a couple things actually. You talking about being parents. I'm a parent. You're a parent. How is parenting going with you in terms of what's a day in the life of Ashley?
Man, I have two girls, and so they keep me on my toes. I say my oldest one, she's 14. She just started high school, so that's like a new beginning for her.
Okay.
It is fun. It's fun because I kind of feel like I'm living through her a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but for me personally, I want her to have the best experience that she could possibly have. So I'm not trying to be that mom that's like a friend. I'm trying to have some type of boundaries, but I want her to feel comfortable enough to let me know what happened throughout her day, and what you and your friends talk about, whatever.
Right. Okay. Keep you in the loop, so to speak.
Yeah. You got to.
That way you don't have no crazy shit come up. It makes sense.
Yes.
So if that is what you want from your daughter, were you the same way when you were a kid? Like, did you have that relationship with your mom?
I did not.
So what was that like?
Growing up, now I grew up in a loving situation, but just like people have generational curses, I think we were affected by that.
What type of curses are you talking about? What's going on?
I can say that without hurting anyone's feelings. We weren't close throughout the years, and I felt like I needed
to be close.
I needed that. And I know it had a lot to do with a lot of things that happened in the family that I'm not too much indulge in, but it affected her relationship was affected with her mom. So I kind of think that kind of triggered our relationship. It kind of triggered down.
Not that that's not dope, but it's dope that you understand that and you don't want to continue that.
Right. I want to break the chain.
Yeah. On my second episode with Chantrice, that's literally our whole concept was like generational curses. Man. She spoke on exactly what you're speaking on. In our conversation, we were talking about like trying to identify where you see the issue and then not creating that same issue for the future. So it's kind of dope to hear now, like, you don't know Chantrice, I don't believe. And if you do,
we did. We did.
Dope, man. So it worked out in that accord that maybe y'all had conversation or whatever, but either way, you working on bettering your situation. Yeah. And that's dope. So if you didn't have that did you have your pops in the way?
Yeah, my parents are still here. We're still together.
Dope. Shout out to that.
I know, it's beautiful.
So what's the role models like for you growing up?
I think I'm a family person. I can't really say I had role models growing up. I just knew what I didn't want to be, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. I know what I don't want to be.
Right.
I don't know what I want to be, but I know I don't want to be.
Yeah, I knew what I did not want to be.
Okay.
I know what I did not want to implement in my own family. I thought I was doing well. I am going to apply myself. I think that me and my daughters have a dope relationship. After school, how was your day? To me, it gets deeper than that.
Right.
Did anybody do anything to you that made you feel uncomfortable?
You gotta go fuck somebody up.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
That's dope as hell though. I have my homies on the episode before this, and we were talking about parenting, but like that's from a guy's perspective. I got a homie that got all daughters. I got a guy who shout out to my homie Eli. He just had his baby. That's dope. But like he's a new dad. I'm semi-new. I'm 2 years in now. But it's good to hear it now from a woman's perspective as well. How you're dealing with trying to be influencing your daughter's life without being like a overbearing weight.
Oh, gosh.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of dope.
My parents are strict.
Okay.
So I try to give her freedom. Make her own decisions. I'm there to assist. I just want to make sure that you're wise enough to make your own path,
right?
And do things that you want to do, and making sure you're comfortable doing so. I think that's very important.
So, how do you feel when I had this conversation with many people? My parents, no parents, nothing bad to say about them at all. But one thing I love about my upbringing was, although they were both there, they let you fall on your face. I feel like a lot of parents kind of, have that safety net. And it's natural though, like you don't want to see a kid get hurt or no matter how old they are. Me, you fall and bust your ass after I told you don't do X, Y, Z, then you fall and bust your ass. So are you the same way, or are you kind of like you got that safety net?
I think I'm the same.
Okay.
Today, actually, my daughter got asked to the homecoming dance. And the way that she was asked, I thought it was cute at first.
Right.
The guy made a poster, presented it to her at school.
Okay.
But when she showed me the poster, it said, "Would you be my snack?" And I'm like, whoa, are you a snack?
Hey.
Or are you a goddess? Like, which one are you?
I like the goddess.
Like, you're nobody's snack, first of all.
Facts.
So,
it's a different name. I don't know if it's different or we just had different lingo or whatever the case may be.
It's different.
That's bold as shit. Homie that said,
gonna
be my snack. Did she say yes or say no?
I told her to think about that.
Okay.
So she needs to think about whether or not she's a snack or not.
Gotcha.
So we're going to revisit that. We're going to revisit that tomorrow.
I bet. So let me see. So how old is your second daughter, and how is the relationship between the second daughter and your first daughter? I mean, like, are they close, and then is your relationship with your second daughter just as close as it?
We're all close.
All close.
And I tell them every day, you two are all y'all got. treat each other like that's you and you're the other, basically.
Right.
I don't play that. I think that that's very important structure at home, especially when you have a sibling. That's all you got. It comes from the same people, the same person, or what have you. But we're very close. My youngest is 8.
Okay.
She's very smart. She's been here before. She is. My kids make me so hard. And I don't know what I would do without them.
That's what. So, as we kind of dive a little bit deeper into this, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get into, again, touchy topic. First off, I wanted to go over your kids, your upbringing, and all that good stuff to kind of understand where you come from a foundational standpoint, and then how we get into the situation that took place.
Okay.
And then also something I wanted to ask, are you a single parent or do you have a father in your life and all that good stuff?
I am a single parent, a proud single parent.
Clap it up for you. That shit tough.
It's hard, especially when you like, okay, I'm in this shit alone. Like by myself. But you know what? It gives me the opportunity to design the shit the way I want it.
True.
And that's the route I'm happy about. Yeah.
Now you know you gotta take the crickets with the straights with that. Meaning that since you designing this shit, shit don't go the way you planned.
That's all me.
It's all you. But if it go the way you planned it, it's all love. It's all yours.
Yeah.
That's dope though. That's dope. Cause I honestly do believe in what you said in terms of telling your daughters like you all you got. Because growing up for me, that's one thing. Like we got this thing about the circle. I mean, everybody say you got your little circles and things like that, but like we have an inner circle with me, my brother, my sister, and my parents. That's the original circle. Like don't nothing break that shit.
Right.
No matter what, it could be the world collapsing on our shoulder. We gonna be in a circle holding that motherfucker up. So that's dope. I love it. That's kind of like the same thing you adapt into your own parenting techniques, and I'm doing the same thing with my son. So I feel you on that one. So I'm gonna kind of let you take the reins a little bit, and we're gonna jump into this aspect or this situation, I should say. That again, this podcast is open forum. There is no wrong questions, no wrong conversations. You can say whatever the hell you want, and in those conversations, we might not always agree, but that's just some things are what they are, and it is what it is. So, Ashley, let's jump into this sexual abuse situation that you experienced. And by you, obviously, I mean you as a family. So, talk to me what happened.
I'm going to do a disclaimer first.
Okay. So,
I didn't want to use this opportunity to smear anybody, but this is my story, so I'm allowed to tell it. I lived through it, but I was married. We were married. We made it to 5 years, and I was with him since my oldest child was just about to turn 3. We got married after I had my second child, which is biologically his. The oldest isn't. We did have a very toxic relationship.
From the jump?
From the jump, but we were young, so...
I got questions.
Ask them. Ask.
So, if it was toxic from the jump, this is pre-second baby, which is now 8 years old, right?
Right.
Why jump into the marriage aspect?
I think we wanted to do the right thing. At that moment, I think we felt like that was the right thing to do.
Because you were expecting, or
it was really just a spur of the moment type of thing.
You supposed to get married, so get married.
He asked me to marry him, and let's go today, and we went. I said yes. Biggest mistake of my life, I might add, but I think if I had closer relationships with those who mattered, and I felt like I could talk to them about what was going on without being judged or anyone taking sides, I probably would have been a little bit slower to make that decision. Right. But we made it. And
how old were you at the time? Y'all mind me asking?
26. Yeah, one of them. But the day that we got married, that night, I was just like, what the fuck did I just do? Yes. Like, can we take this back? But we tried to push forward. It was just a lot of arguing. We did get physical. And I'm not going to act like I was an angel.
Throwing hands?
I think I was defending myself more so. I don't think I'm the type to provoke, but I'm not innocent. I don't want to just this like situation right here. Yeah.
Like that you own accountability. That's a big topic at all times. So. Okay, so y'all are getting physical. Is it an often thing or?
It was often enough.
Like, so I agree, it should never happen. So
it was often enough. Police got involved several times. Okay. Yes.
So we getting a divorce at this point.
Well, that's the route we were going to go before this incident did occur. We did decide that it wasn't working out. The best thing to do would be to separate. I don't know why we held on as long as we did.
How long is holding on too long? How long y'all?
The whole 5 years.
Gotcha.
Yes. Immediately, like I said, after getting married, I realized that was a mistake. We weren't mature enough. You know, me having male friends wasn't ideal for him. You know, and on my part, like, oh, you're mad that I got male friends, and you can't have female friends. There was a lot of immaturity, a lot of dark days.
A lot of what I see on these TikTok podcast joints, the conversations.
And I don't want any parts of that ever.
So how do you feel about you getting into a new situation, or if you're in a current situation and your partner has female friends? Is that a deal breaker for you now?
No, it's not a deal breaker. I think that helps you develop balance. To be honest, you know, I have male friends and they keep it real with me. I love it. You know, they advise me if I'm fucking up. You know, they like my big brothers.
Right.
So yeah, I appreciate it. So I think as a man, they need a female around. They need that feminine energy.
Meaning like your male friends need a female friend around, meaning you to keep them whatever it is. Yeah. Right. I mean, I can't argue with you. I got 2 female best friends. You know what I'm saying? It's always that notion of like male and females cannot be friends without some type of tension.
Or sex.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sexual tension bubbling up. But like, I agree. Nobody can be friends.
Yeah.
My homie Yancy, she is like a dude to me. Like, some people, I ain't gonna say that. That's neither here nor there. But to me, Yancy is a straight up, she like the cat y'all seen on the last episode, you know what I'm saying? Like, I talk to her like I would talk to my brother. So, I agree with you in that regard. Okay, so, y'all in this situation where y'all mutually are saying like, this shit ain't working. We gotta part ways. Let's say that happens in year 5, right? In January, top of the year. How long does it take for the full separation to take place, or does something else happen within?
Something else happened within that window. So that year, 2019, we both knew like it was nothing left between us. I think that we put on a facade amongst each other. You know, especially when it came to family. You know, we wanted to be perfect. Yeah. On my behalf, my family knew what I was doing. You know, I have
So you out here telling the family what's going on.
I think you have to tell someone so someone could know what's going on. And if God forbid anything was to happen, like, hey, he was abusive.
Right.
You know?
That's the only reason I gotta say I agree with that though. Because I'm someone who like keep your business, keep your relationship, like your intimate relationship to your intimate relationship. You're not in a relationship with that person along with your family.
Right.
But when it's domestic and physical, you got to.
Yeah, I'm not gonna share all of the details with my family members, but like something as serious as that, you know, sometimes I had to call them, can you come get the kids?
Yeah.
We end up fighting and they don't need to be around you. Just keeping it real. You know, or I called the police already and, you know, I don't want my kids here. We all need to come up for the night. It was rough. It was rough.
So how do we don't stay on track, but how do your girls respond to that? Like at that time and then also now, like how are they?
Well, my oldest, she started to hate me.
The oldest is the child that he kind of stepped in.
Yeah, she started to resent me because he had no filter. You know, I was a little bit more reserved. Sometimes it was things I didn't want to discuss in front of the kids, or you know, I tried to act like it wasn't a big deal, but he would turn up, and I didn't know if I should shut up or defend myself.
Right.
I chose to defend myself each and every time. You know, my kids did witness a lot that they shouldn't have witnessed. And that's something that I still regret to this day and feel guilty about. But me having an open relationship with them, they understand this happens, and when this happens, it's time to go. You don't stay in anything like that. So I think it taught them a lesson too. Unfortunately, they had to suffer through, our fights and staying up all night because we can't shut up from arguing. But now they know what to stay away from. And I told them to take this as a lesson. Don't let this make you feel bad or, like it's the end of the world. Take this as a lesson so you won't make the same mistakes I made.
So let's continue. So we at this point, at this crossroads where we like, shit, fuck it. It's mutual in terms of y'all both want separation, right?
Right. So we did agree to, but we were staying together, of course.
Right.
I wanted to keep the place. It was an apartment. It wasn't like we owned the home or anything like that. But I thought it would be more of a hassle for me to start over than him.
And why did you think that?
I have kids. I have to uproot them. You gotta just change my whole situation. I wasn't in a place financially either to, even attempt to try to find a new place. I depended on him.
Or were you a stay-at-home mom? Or you still working? Or?
I work part-time.
Part-time. So he was bringing in.
He was the breadwinner, yeah.
Okay. So you felt that it was easier for him to
start
he was making more bread. Okay.
And then eventually it was just going to be him, But
I'm assuming at that time he wanted to be in his kid's life too.
At the time,
right?
That was the idea.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
But
okay.
I think he felt the energy that the kids were giving him,
including his biological kids too.
Including his, because she would say things like, "You're so mean," why aren't you?
Right.
Yeah. So
okay.
He started to feel it.
So we moving forward. Where we go from there? We still in 2019?
We're still in 2019. So we did decide we're going to separate in November. He decided that he was going to. You know what? I think I decided I was going to leave and go home with my parents, and he was going to keep the place. But before that could even happen in October.
I hate that happened on my birthday.
I'm so sorry.
Disrespect.
It's Halloween month, people be it's crazy.
I'm gonna let you continue.
But I deep down within me, I knew it was something deeper than what we were actually suffering from and going through. I felt it in my soul, and I'll never forget. It was October 15th. I just felt compelled to pray. I'm not religious. I don't even believe in religion. I believe in a higher power. I believe in God.
Same.
But that day, it was just like, stop what you're doing right now and pray. I prayed. I begged God to reveal His true identity. That was the hardest I ever prayed in my life. And I asked my ancestors. This is my first time praying to my ancestors. This is what introduced me to, I swear it is. This is what introduced me to even believing and having that type of faith. I asked them, please reveal His true color before whatever is about to happen goes any further. Like, I felt it. Not even 48 hours later, my daughter, my oldest daughter, it's maybe about 7 a.m. She's getting ready for school. She comes and wakes me up, and she's like, I got something to tell you. And what is it? She's like, he did something. I'm not going to say his name, but she's like, he did something very bad. And immediately, I just got up and, what is it? And this is how she explained it. She said she woke up in the middle of the night. Had to be about 1 o'clock in the morning. Because we were all asleep. Everybody went to bed, including him. So she said she woke up. She said she felt a presence around her. And she woke up, looked over, and saw him in her doorway, getting up while he was watching her. Immediately I wanted to vomit. I promise you, like, it just hit my gut, like, my baby. Like, this sick man, like, this sick person. And then, like, he's a father figure to her. But as she goes into detail, she's like, I turned around, I moved, thinking that he was going to, walk away and stop. So she said he did back out of the room because our room was kind of like right next to each other. So we shared a hallway. So he was in the hallway of her bedroom. And she said she turned around to let him know, she was up. And she said he walked off. She felt him, she could feel him walk off. She could hear him walk off and whatnot. And she said she waited a few minutes and she turned back around and she saw him creep back into her room, continuing what he was doing. It's disgusting. And my baby, I still applaud her to this day for having the strength and the courage to tell, because a lot of children are afraid to speak up when it comes to sexual abuse. So with that being said, the first thing I did was pack whatever I could grab because I knew I had to get them out. Before we even go any further, we're getting out of these walls. We're getting out of this household. I drove them straight to my parents' house. And she's telling me more details on the ride there. And she texted him, wait until I tell my mom what you did. And he responded like, what are you talking about? And the next text message after him, we could plug these messages if you want to.
We ain't gonna plug them. But that's just some other shit. Like.
I just wanted to be exposed on how sick people could be, and how they try to take advantage of children. But, he was like, you know what? I'm sorry. Do you want me to go to jail? Because if you tell your mom, I'm going to go to jail. He tried to convince her. He asked her, what could he buy her? What could he do to avoid her not telling me? And this conversation between them lasted at least 3 hours. And I'm asleep the entire time. I had no idea what was going on. He got up and went to work like nothing happened. So when she did come to me and tell me, of course, he was gone. But, so after she texted him, the conversation ended with him just begging her not to tell. She told me. After I dropped him off to a safe place, I went straight to the police. I printed out the text message conversation. Then I went straight to the police, turned in all the evidence, and I let it go from there. That was the last time that they seen him, and he seen them. And I never looked back. Of course, DCFS got involved because they have to do a thorough investigation and making sure that, no other harm was done.
Right.
But then that led me, I had to keep it real with my youngest child. She was like maybe 5 days away from turning 6. And I had to ask her, has he ever touched you? Did he do anything to you to make you feel uncomfortable? And with my own interview and the interview from the doctors and everybody else, she wasn't exposed to that. She wasn't harmed. It was just my oldest. But it's been one.
That's some different type of level of sick. Like, and I'm not a believer in all that. And I'm not saying that because I feel like it's an excuse when people say, some of these people have mental illnesses.
It's definitely an excuse. They know better.
I'd be like, look, bro, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Your ass sick. I hope you get whatever come your way. Mm-hmm. Whatever that is, I ain't gonna wish no harm on you. Just whatever come your way, you deserve that shit. Mm-hmm. As a parent, I don't even know. I do know how I would react. I think you took it, and maybe because you're a woman, you know what I'm saying? Like you did the right thing. Mm-hmm. I would have did my thing. I'm not gonna say what I would do because we on camera.
I had to deal with that, and it was tough because a lot of people like, I would have did this, I would have did that, or whatever. I feel like I did the right thing.
You did the absolute right thing by getting you kids out of that situation from a physical standpoint, like moving out of that location, and then also following up with the legal action behind it. Mm-hmm. First of all, we talked about on the last episode understanding the moment when you're in the moment. It's very hard to identify that. It's something I'm trying to continuously work on just so I can be better at it. But it's not something that you can just wake up and just know. And In that moment, you understood the moment and did the right thing.
It was my baby. I had to.
Facts. What other people would have did that are like-minded with myself would have possibly did the wrong thing.
Absolutely.
So I commend you for that, for sure. That's a whole nother level of pain. And,
I mean, that would just open up another can of worms.
Yeah.
Had it went that
the other way. Yeah, facts.
But, I mean,
shout out to you.
Justice was served. Right now, he is a registered sex offender. He has to register for the next 9 years, because last year was when the trial was over and everything was completed. So for the next,
guilty.
He was definitely found guilty. Too much evidence, and the text messaging, like, man, if I could give my daughter the world just for that, that was bravery. There's not a lot of kids that's gonna be like, wait till I tell mom what you did to me. And she knew I was gonna stand for her. But I was fucked up. It hurt me.
I was gonna ask you next. Where put you at?
I was in the darkest space. It took a lot of healing to get out of the hole I was in.
But how do you heal from that? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not possible. You obviously have done it. You're here, right?
I mean, I can talk about it. That's how I know. Usually, if I'm talking about it, I'm like, it brings back a feeling. I was a wife. I thought I had everything that people
white picket fence
wanted.
Yeah, right.
Everything was good. I mean, we had our struggles, but
we don't.
I think some people think marriage is success. Like that's a goal that people want to reach. So, and not to mention, like, here I am again having to go through the process of being a single mom. Then not only that, I have to start from scratch. I didn't have nothing. Not even. I didn't think about dating. It was just me getting to a place.
Like providing for everyone.
Providing for them, just making sure we had everything we needed. It was real. It was a real life wake up reality check for me to really think about our future. One day you're gonna have to answer to our child. She's gonna have questions. She's gonna want to know, like, why do you do that? What happened? What went wrong? And I'm pretty sure.
Has she asked yet? Like, I mean, I know you said you had to explain it to your child, but has she asked, like, why isn't Daddy around anymore?
She knows.
She knows.
I broke it down to her just as it was and told her everything that happened. And I felt bad because she was only 5 at the time. But
right.
she's so mature and understanding, and she loves myself and her sister. That no, she don't ask about him to this. That she never asked about him.
Messes with her on the inside?
I think she thinks about it, especially when she sees or hear her friends, interacting with their fathers. But she still doesn't ask about him. She'll say, "Mommy, when you gonna get a husband so I can have a daddy?" Or something like that. But she doesn't ask like
about that.
When can I see my father, or am I ever gonna see him again, or whatever. She understands. And when I ask her, like, "Do you think about him?" And she's like, he did something bad, so I don't want to be around him. And then she'll bring up, like, plus he always used to be mean, and I say this and that. But it's sad. At the same time, I'm grateful that they are aware. I think that will help them make better decisions, when they're adults.
I think it's kind of tying. I like to tie things up and tie them to one another. The relationship you're trying to create that you already have, honestly, you're not trying to create. You already have it. You're just trying to better it even more so as time goes on with your kids. It's going to help your youngest with the situation. Because she's going to come to a time in her life. She might be 35 when that time comes, but it's going to come where she has to vocalize how she feels. Maybe it's questions, maybe it's frustration, maybe it's a combination of everything. And I think that you're going to be the one she vocalizes it to. And I don't have any doubt that you'll handle it properly. Maybe at that time, y'all can all have a sit down. And I mean, I don't think there's no explanation for that type of shit. But
it's not.
I'm just speaking on her getting closure.
Right. And that's important.
And I was about to say that's what's important. Her getting closure. Regardless of wherever it goes, just her having that understanding, like, that's what that was. Now this is what this is, and I can move forward now. I think that's super important. So
I honestly do think in the future she's going to revisit her feelings, and I am definitely when the time comes, if she wants to do counseling. We tried counseling. Neither one of them wanted it. You know, they got tired of talking about it.
Typical black people.
Look, I am a counselor. Like that's how I feel. Like I don't judge. You know, you can be completely open with me, and we're gonna talk and figure out a solution.
Right.
You know, whatever it is they want to talk about, whatever it is they want to discuss. But I think that now my relationship with my mom is great. It's better than it's ever been, and me being around them, you know, it's helping them, my children as well, because they're in a safe environment. They're around people that they know that love them.
Trust.
Yeah, and so I think we kind of created that stronger relationship just because of that situation. Yeah.
How is so okay, we have this situation in 2019. I'm gonna try to like paint the picture a little bit.
Okay.
Even though you've done a fascinating job or amazing job, I should say.
Oh, thank you.
Because now we're moving into 2020, right?
2020.
That's at the end of 2019 because you said October. So
right.
Listen, November, December, we move right into 2020, and 3 months in, we hit COVID.
Right.
So now you're not only still in an ongoing situation legally, right? You're trying to navigate how to become not only the breadwinner, but also provide for yourself, for your kids, have a home, have a roof, all that good stuff. Like everything that you ain't had to worry about before, now you got to worry about now, and it has to happen immediately.
Right.
So, how the hell do you navigate COVID?
That was rough. That was rough. After that incident, I did move back home with my parents, and a few months later, we got our own place.
Okay.
It was great. We were comfortable. We loved it. You know, we even slept in the same bed together almost every night. We still do. That's how close me and my kids are. But it's by choice, though.
I got you.
But even then, I think that's when I realized, like, wait a minute, you know, this ain't it. I had to do a lot of relearning for myself. I felt like I was so damaged. I felt like I was so broken that I definitely wasn't whole. It was tough for me. Just the realization, and then me feeling like I had something to do with the damage that my children were. It was a lot of guilt. Yep. I probably went through the most depressing phase of my life that I've been through, to where I had to go back home. It just wasn't working. Like nothing was working for me. I was afraid to leave my kids at home alone while I went out and worked. I was paranoid. It just wasn't working. So I decided to go back home. And this time I'm like, you know what? I have to make several changes. I lost friends. It was a lot. It was a lot that I've been through. It was a lot of learning, but I think that was the most beautiful experience for me. It was dark.
Turn to a butterfly.
Man, I needed that. I needed that because it helped me develop spiritually. It helped me grow as a woman. It helped me tap into my femininity because I felt like I lost it. I had the opportunity now to focus on something that I didn't have the chance to do prior. Go back to school, get a better job, you know, think about what I want to do for my future, just new interests, new hobbies, everything. So
for yourself.
Yeah, it was like a total.
Ain't it a whole new thing?
Yes.
You think you know yourself, you be like,
but you don't. No. Yes,
yeah.
And even like my taste in music changed. Like I went through like the biggest growth that I don't know about other people, but I think it's huge. And I'm not so vocal with a lot of people about my struggles or what I've dealt with personally, but I'm not the same.
Yeah. I feel like that's a lot of opportunities and darkness. I ain't gonna get into myself, but it's kind of, I could give this type of, not even advice, just like overview, like bird's eye view. When you're going through them dark times and shit ain't going your way, and you feel like, man, I'm ready to box it out with whoever the higher being is. Like my mom, she's super spiritual and religious, I should say. I'm not so much. I'm kind of like you, like in the sense of like I believe in a higher being and all that good stuff. And I done told my mom before, like, man, we be chopping it up. And I'm like, man, look, at this point, I'm willing to run a fade with whoever running the show right now, because I don't know what your beef is with me, bro, but we gotta talk. So I think that it's kind of, not even kind of, I know that it's dope to see you now blossom from it. You know what I'm saying? And it's always that way, though. It really is. I've never seen a situation in life from my own or just from a watching standpoint of someone going through some shit, not giving up, you know, putting their head down and just going through it, and then come out better on the other end. I need to take my own motherfucking advice sometimes and just say, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It
definitely is what it is.
So shout out to you for real. Shout out to your daughters, especially your oldest, for having a, you know, gumption to say, hey, my mama said she gonna beat your, you know what I'm saying?
Tell my mama.
Yeah, that's fire. So where did you find the strength? Like, how did you? Cause just being honest, a lot of people fold.
They do,
and it's not something to like say I'm better than you type thing. It's just one of the things where we're not all the same. You know what I'm saying? Some people will just fold under that pressure, and they don't have whether it's not the foundation or they don't have the support. They don't have the know-how, whatever the case may be. You know, all of the above. Right. How did you find your strength in the sense of like, you know what? I can beat this shit. Right. Like, I can do this. This ain't as tough as I think it is. It's tough, but it ain't that tough.
It's not, because, you know, I know a lot of people say this, but somebody been through worse.
Facts.
It's something worse that happened to somebody else. And by the grace of God, my daughter wasn't physically assaulted.
Yeah.
Thank God. But what got me through it was I had to ground myself. Like I said, I'm not religious, but this situation, and I took that showed me that spirituality is real, God is real, and all of that shit is real. By me praying and I got my answers right away, I specifically asked for something. It's just like, okay, Ash, like, believe in yourself, you know, first. So my grounding came from, I started researching different religions, and, you know, it started there. And just researching all of them made me a non-believer even more in religion. Because it's like, you know,
everybody got their story.
Yeah, but I'm not even going to indulge in that. That's a whole nother podcast. Right. But I had to tap into something, and within myself, and I knew that from those prayers and how they got answered, that, you know,
somebody listening.
Yeah, I got angels, I got ancestors, I got protectors. It's the guy.
So we go through, trying to get back on time. So we go through 2020 COVID, right. Tough as shit. 2021, still kind of in COVID-ish. Take the mask off, keep the mask on. Whatever that work. Where are you though? How you living?
In 2021?
In 2021.
So being that we had a lot of alone time, I read, I studied.
Facts.
I'm a big reader. I love to learn.
Has that always been you? Or?
Yes, it's always been me, but I kind of feel
I'm a new reader. I'm sorry.
I'm
new to the book world.
I love history. I love reading about. Yeah, I love to read. So, being that I did like to read, I started to just change the books that I was reading, and there were more informative books, or I'll read more so about my interests, which was like at the time I was learning about crystals or herbs and, you know, things like that. That kind of, it's like I would go to sleep reading a book about herbs or watching a YouTube video about some shit that I just want to learn.
Fun time.
It's fun to me. You know, call me a geek, whatever, but like I love to be experimenting, trying this, trying that, putting some shit together. That's me. I create a lot. You know, even my kids, they into it too. But 2021, I think I'm at that phase where I'm starting to come out of my depression and
Darkness.
stop feeling bad for myself and realizing like, man, you got two beautiful kids, they're smart, you did good, like they're safe. Focus on you. What makes you happy? What do you want to do?
So as we jump in 2021, you kind of but you're finding yourself more so.
Myself, my interests.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We jumping into what it's actually like. Okay, how do I stay in that pocket? And then how do I evolve from this?
Right.
So, what came from it?
Well, my love for herbs and nature and all that helped me. It made me realize, like, I want to do this. One day I want to become an herbalist. I know it's probably going to take some time until I gain all the knowledge that most of these people have that are herbalists right now, but I can start somewhere.
Right.
So if I start, like, maybe one day I focus on this herb, the next day I focus on that one, that helped me come to the decision that, hey, I want to start a herbal care line that completely focuses on healing, self-care. Because being a mom, you don't always have time to go to the spa or, to do little things that will probably make you feel good. But if you can do this shit at home, why not? Yeah, so yoni steaming is something that I kind of fell in love with. It's kind of a feminine way of cleansing your womb with herbs. You steam over a pot of hot herbs.
How the hell do you steam over a pot?
Well, you put it in like a little basin.
Okay.
Or a pot or whatnot. You can squat. You can sit on the toilet. You get those little sits back. Yeah. But
you sit there. How long you have to sit?
About 20 minutes. 20 minutes to do.
Got some good ass thighs and quads.
It get hot. You gonna have it get hot. You gotta get used to it. But I had to learn the hard way. I burnt myself a couple times.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like the feeling that I got afterwards. I felt it from within. It wasn't just like, oh, I did a thing. It was like I feel this shit. Like I feel good.
Right.
It's refreshing. So I started making it routine. I'll have me a moment where I would just yoni steam. I started smoking herbs.
Is there a difference for you, like smoking herbs?
It's definitely a difference. Sometimes I do add it to my weed. It enhances it. I started off with like maybe roses and lavender, and I noticed like, oh my God, this is like I feel euphoric.
I was about to say euphoric.
Yeah, it was a great feeling.
Right.
So then I started studying different herbs and herbs to give you clarity or herbs to just heal your lungs, whatever. And I'm not the type of person that'll be so quick to go to medicine for anything. I would definitely, hey, you need to drink this, or let me go hook this up real quick.
My new little witch doctor. Man, I got a son.
My mama called me witch. She like, don't be bringing this shit in my house. But no, I think that my influence has definitely gave them an eye opener about the benefits of it, because now they're like, okay, go ahead and sage. Why don't you sage your hair? It used to be like, come on, that's demonic.
And the sage kind of like remove any negative energy within whatever the location is, right?
Yeah. As long as you open up those windows and
you get the fuck out
properly, get the fuck out. Okay. But then I started developing oils because people in my family had eczema. I had issues with my skin. And lotions and creams didn't work, so I started thinking like, okay, what herb worked for this? What do this? And I'll make an oil out of it. But
did it work out for you?
Yeah, it worked out a lot. I mostly I didn't even stop wearing like body sprays or perfumes. I would quickly just go put some lavender oil or some essential oil on me. So it's my lifestyle. It's not just something I do.
And this is what we got right here, right?
Yes, it is. This is my yoni kit. This is a yoni oil. You can use it as a body oil too, but it has tons of herbs in there that are detoxing, antifungal, antioxidants that will help with multiple skin issues, like eczema, acne, what have you. Even like moisturizing. So
you hop out the shower. She hop out the shower. She go ahead and slap that
and
on.
You're gonna be soft, silky, and you're gonna smell
good. It'll be good.
Yes. Okay. Then it's here. usually would do a foot soak as I'm steaming, you know, kind of like killing two birds with one
you
stone.
doing your long ass squat.
Yeah, I got my feet.
Right, you got your feet planted, okay.
In the basin. But this is made with like different powders, like rose hip powder, ginger root powder,
Okay.
cinnamon powder, you know, things of that nature. And it's all beneficial to your mind, body, and your soul.
So this like make your feet soft or something? Or?
It makes it soft.
I hear that. Rough heel women.
Rough heels, it makes it
rough heel women out here trying to rub your little scaly feet and under the sheets.
Yeah, just do a quick little herbal detox for you back in the game.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just a moment. It's my personal spa time, my me moment.
Right.
It's helping me tap into my most feminine power. This right here is the actual yoni steam, and it has different herbs in it that offer different benefits. I have lavender, roses, juniper berries.
So with the steam joint, are you just putting like a hot ass pot of water and then you putting this in it?
Yes, you boil the water and you put the herbs in your basin, you pour the water in it, and you sit over it. But me studying herbs, I've learned that you could soak in them. You can boil the tea, pour it in your bath water, and sit in it. And you're going to get all the same benefits that you would get, but for your skin mostly, but it all works out.
And I learned women, and I'm going to say women, I'm going to put y'all all in a pot for this. Usually I don't, but y'all can take water temperature at a whole different level.
Man, I don't see how y'all take cold or even lukewarm showers. It has to be hot.
I can take I'll take a hot shower. Y'all should be inferno, scorching the skin off the bone type shit. So I guess I understand what you're saying with that. You throw that in the water. I'm assuming y'all water feel like hot lava, and you throw that in there.
That's ancient. People been doing this since
the
beginning of the time. Okay. Yeah, so it's an ancient remedy. But what I would do, I would just clean up my space, make it comfortable for me, light some incense, burn my sage.
Okay, set a little vibe.
Yeah, set a little vibe. Get you a drink, smoke you a blunt or some herbs, what have you, and just be in your moment. Where
can they find you at? Some of y'all need it again for y'all scaly snake skin heels.
Skin. I mean, to get on my
I'm just talking about. Hold on. I think you said this one is for the feet.
That's for the feet.
I'm talking about this right here for y'all snake skin feet. Y'all be
and
needing.
then go behind it with some of the Ep5 oil. It's silk in a bottle. I promise you.
And you got an IG page?
I do. It is Moon LLC.
Okay.
On Instagram.
Okay.
That's right now. That's the only source of communication as far as my business, and I am developing more resources to get in touch. But
for sure, we're gonna have that link in the description for y'all to follow.
Yes.
And purchase, of course.
Most of it is word of mouth by now. I do have amazing family and friends that would recommend them for their regular buyers, so it keeps me busy. And I try to make everything made to order. I'm not gonna have it pre-made. So
that's dope.
Yeah, and everything is organic. It's organic herbs. They're all natural.
I like it. I like the whole. What I truly like about the brand is that it comes from real life experience.
Yes.
So like we would have never been here had you not gone through everything we discussed.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that just speaks to your strength as an individual and your ability to overcome. So I love it. I think it's dope. Anything we can do here, obviously on the platform, or just me as a person, you let me know, and we gonna facilitate it.
I appreciate it.
I'm all about us growing, and we kind of talked about it before we was on the episode, but like it ain't no versus. No, it's together.
Steel sharpens steel.
Yeah. So culture and impact. I ask everybody this. What do you want to see from the culture, meaning us, and what do you want your impact to be?
Man, if I could be an example of perseverance,
on the right road.
Man, I don't really talk about what I've dealt with internally, just as a woman growing up, just how I was feeling. A lot of people need tools to help them get past certain things. And so this was my tool. Something that was connected to nature and that was connected to spirit, that was my tool. So if I could promote women, period, in general, men and women, but most importantly, women, because I'm not trying to say women got it hard or whatnot. I'm not trying to take away from men having their own struggles, but
it's tough.
The world is, yes, it's tough on women. We deal with a lot, especially when you're a single mom.
Like I said, we ain't gonna jump into it. We kind of talked about it before our episode started, but like, I don't disagree with you, man. Mm-hmm. I think that it's tough for women out here. I think it's tough for men out here.
It's tough for everybody, especially that's Black people.
Overall, and it's always been tough for us. You feel me? It's always been tough for us. So that's why I always say, like, anything I can do, anything I can do to help you, even if it's just knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not no keep up secrets in that regard. Like, you let me know. I got you.
And some people don't have a source. I do want to open up and become a source for others if I could. If they feel like they don't have anyone to talk to about whatever experience you're going through, I'm going to listen and we're going to figure out a solution. I may not have all the answers, but I'm going to be a friend that you need and help you get through that struggle.
Get to the answer.
We need a sisterhood and we need the village that we used to have back in the day. I think we need that back.
I don't disagree, man. I think women of today have, in some regard, definitely not all and definitely not majority, have kind of lost their way of women, of being a woman.
They have, because they had to be a strong bitch.
And on top of that, though, I think that there are some men out here that have lost the concept of what it is to be a man.
You are absolutely right.
And I ain't gonna point blame and fingers and all that shit. That's a whole nother episode for a whole nother podcast.
We got a lot to say.
But we gonna focus on you and your triumphs, your victories, your accomplishments. And I ain't just saying this shit just because you're on the podcast. I genuinely respect everything you've gone through, have been through, and I don't think that you're going to fail moving forward. Regardless. Yeah, that's real shit. Like, everybody don't make it through them type of things. Like, that's just a fact of what it is. So to see someone come up from it, it's kind of like empowering. And I hope that somebody sees this video that is also motivated and inspired to be like, maybe they're going through something, whether it's similar or indifferent, but just seeing your strength is kind of like, I can do this shit too.
A lot of people hide sexual abuse in a family. I think that's something
it's not something we want to talk about.
That's not the trend anymore. We need to start, I'm not going to say exposing people. I don't want people to just get on the bashing
campaign, from it, though.
Yeah, let them know what's going on. Maybe you can save somebody else. You never know who else is suffering or going through something similar. But I just think we need to break that chain of sweeping that shit under the rug, because who are you trying to protect at the end of the day?
I feel you. So as we wrap things up on this episode, first of all, is there anything that you want to say? Anything that we need to know? What's coming next? What we doing here? What's going on?
Eventually, I do want to take it to where I do offer personal yoni thing, maybe a yoni party. Where women can get together.
That's dope.
Just have like a little kumbaya moment, a moment of peace.
Hey, I love Wakanda moment.
Yeah, I think that'd be dope. So eventually, that's where I'm headed. As far as my business goes, I do have something coming up with my best friend that I mentioned earlier. We're going to offer services to senior citizens. So that's what we're getting off the floor now. It's in the baby steps. And we're developing it, but I just want to give back. I want to give to people. I want to show people love. I want people to feel love, because everyone deserves it.
I agree. Again, as always, anything I can do, or the Is What It Is platform can do for y'all business, meaning like your best friend, or your business, let me know.
I appreciate that.
I'm always here for you in that regard. These conversations be kind of touchy, you know what I'm saying? But that's what my platform is for. It's for them conversations that some of you all may not want to have, and we're not going to always agree. That's just how conversations go, but some things are what it are, and it is what it is. Make sure y'all subscribe, click the motherfucking bell, and that's a wrap. Welcome to the platform. Welcome to the Is What It Is. Yep, for sure.
That was good.